From that young age, 7-8-year-old, it was molded into us in my head. I was like, I wanted to go to prison. They're using the drugs as a cope mechanism, but that's keeping them in prison. So it's just an ongoing vicious circle.
I said, look, you're watching too much Scarface. That's not right. They're not criminals. They're civilians.
I wanted to go to prison, but I didn't want an IPP.
Yes.
And I didn't want that sentence. My 2 and 3-year-old were saying, Daddy, when you're coming home? Well, I couldn't tell them. I thought myself, I need to sort my head out. Like, can I keep going on like this?
You have taken all of that negativity, all of that darkness, and you've turned it round.
People from Gate said over Sunderland would actually come to my gym to sit on my group and actually helped save 7 lads from killing themselves. From that day forward, that's when my life changed, and that's how I am, the person I am now.
Right, well, Ricky, well, welcome. And thank you very much for coming on the Hope and Hell podcast.
Not a bother, my pleasure.
So yeah, Tom, do you want to introduce yourself?
Well, no, obviously I don't. We normally start with a brief intro about like where you grew up,
right,
how things went as a kid, obviously how you ended up eventually committing to a life of crime, and then we'll go for the good stuff after that. Like, so where you were born, basically.
Right, I was born in Newcastle, lived in Elsick. We lived there for about 5 years, and my mum and dad had family over in Stanley, which is a little village in County Durham. And they thought they were going to give us a better life by moving us out of Elsick, because at the time the Elsick riots was kicking off. I was born in 1985, so this was around about 1990, if you remember the Meadowell riots.
Yeah.
That spilled over into Newcastle. My mum and dad thought, we need to get these out of here. Took us down to South Stanley, which is in Stanley, and it was out of one place and straight into the other.
Like
it was
the
just as
Bronx,
bad.
It is like that.
Just as bad.
It's got its charm, but it can be rough, can't it? It's definitely got its charm, and it's good people.
But at that age, 5-year-old, seeing stuff happening all the time, fighting in the streets, people just intoxicated all the time, drinking, doing whatever. It was sort of fun at that age. There was nothing much in the area. Gary, you'll know. Same sort of surroundings growing up. So, like I say, it was just exciting seeing this fighting.
So have you got brothers and sisters, or were you?
I've got a brother and a sister. Obviously my mum and dad, so there was the 5 of us. My dad had already spent 14 years in prison previously before I was actually born.
Right.
Obviously when he got with my mum and had us, he went straight. And from the ages of 12 up until 28 for him, like I say, he spent 14 years in prison, and that was all for violence.
Right.
But out in the streets on the night times, all the parents are out pissed up. And like I say, we just found it intriguing, watching the parents fighting. My
Just
mum and
become
dad
the
was
norm.
fighting with other people, and we were loving it, thriving on it. So that's what it was like as a youngster. I was getting into bits of trouble, lighting fires, shoplifting, just what you would call the normal stuff in that type of neighbourhood for kids.
Just a rite of passage in that it is, aye.
People that are coming from more of a better background wouldn't like understand things where that's not normal, but it was normal for them estates and them neighbourhoods.
Yeah. So I know that, I mean, I know your story and stuff, and well, the world knows your story now, don't they? You know, fame at last. So
in the right way.
Yeah, definitely, very positive. So you live in this kind of life, your dad's in jail and stuff, and I know that had a big effect on you, didn't it?
It did, aye.
So what age were you, Ricky, when you went to jail?
Like I say, it was before I was born.
Right.
But my dad used to tell me, like from the ages of 6 and 7, he used to tell me when he was had a few drinks, he used to tell us, as you would say, war stories, but tell us the prison stories.
Yeah.
And he told us most of it was fighting with screws. That's what he was renowned for. It was violence, fighting outside when he was drunk, then in prison, fighting with the screws. And when he's telling me these stories, I was, again, intrigued by it, loving it, listening to it. And from that young age, 7-8-year-old, it was molded into us in my head. I was like, I wanted to go to prison from a young age.
How old were you when you first sentenced?
Believe it or not, I didn't actually go to prison till I was 20.
Right.
I've been in and out of trouble for years and years, locked up any amount of times. The majority of the times it was always for violence, and it was always NFA'd. Obviously they could never prove it. So my first time in prison was when I was 20-year-old.
And what sentence was that?
It was first time in, I'd have got IPP.
Right.
Yeah.
for my first sentence.
But so before that, there was because you were like you said in the community and stuff, and pockets of my community as well,
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Aye.
So drinking and using, and there was a kind of there's an excitement to it, isn't it? But there's a hopelessness there.
Aye,
You know,
of course.
there's not the horizons are not big, are they?
No.
So it's what you can see right in front of you, and that's the life you're embroiled in.
Yeah.
So I know that you were drinking, using, getting involved in all kinds of madness.
Yeah.
And then that led to the events that eventually got to the IPP sentence. So, you know, I know it's well documented again, but I'm going to ask you.
Aye, of course, aye.
Yeah.
Like I say, it was when I was started drinking and using cannabis from the ages of 11. So from the ages of 11 up until I went to prison when I was 20, there wasn't really a day went by where I wasn't either stoned or pissed up. And like I say, that went on up until I was 20. 15-year-old were out in the clubs, bars. Violence was just getting more, fighting with like-minded lads. It was never what I would class as innocent people. It was always people that was like-minded, and it was always in the nightclubs and stuff. And it was always when I used to go to the next level. I used to use bottles and I'd use weapons. And then when I was 18-year-old, my dad got lifed off for murder, which had a massive effect on me. Obviously, being in that mindset already, just no sense of direction, just all I used to think about was drinking with my pals, going out fighting. Then my dad had got lifed off when I was 18-year-old, and my mindset just went even worse. And
there was no limit to the violence, was there? Because I know you, and I know, and you know your reputation, and the person that you were prepared to go all the way.
Oh, of course,
in every situation.
Yeah.
So that's that's heading towards danger, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. But even on the first violent offence, what I was convicted on or charged with, because I admitted to that offence, was when I was about 19, 20. I was in a house party, game of like-minded lads, got into an altercation with one of the lads in the house, having a bit of an argument, asked us to leave, so I was just about to leave his house, and as I was stepping out the door, he's turned around and said, you know, but I'll not swear too much on you. Is it all right?
Feel free.
Says, you know, but a fucking arsehole. So I've turned round, picked up I've battered him, knocked him to the floor, jumped on top of him with a bottle of Lambrini, just smashing him all over like a lunatic. He's on the floor, and I've just picked a marble trophy up and just splattered it off his head. The lad that I was with ran in, started hitting him with a bottle as well. Obviously later that night the coppers were looking for us, but again in my head I was using this violence like that as well because I wanted to go to prison.
Aye.
And I thought, wait, I'm locked up all these times, they keep getting in and out, now it's happening, the violence is getting worse. So at 12 o'clock that night I went to the police station up in Stanley. The police station shut, but you could see the coppers in the back banging on the window, and they're looking through thinking, who's this lunatic? And they say, what do you want? And I'm shouting, I wanted it, banging on the windows, and they've said we'd come round the back. So I went into the parking lot round the back, told the copper who was on, like, I'm wanted. So they radioed through. Stanley no longer used to have the holding cells, so you had to go to concert. So they took us up to concert police station. Got interviewed in the morning, obviously you had to wait till you sobered up. Got interviewed in the morning, told them it was me, told them what I'd done. They put us back in the cells, took us to the front desk and says, right, you're getting bailed. I turned around, I looked at them, I was like, you're bailing us. I said, I've just told you what I've done, I'm telling you, like, this isn't going to stop. I was actually pre-warning them, this isn't stopping. If you let me out, something else is going to happen. They just let us out, and I just couldn't believe it. I thought, like, I'm more or less pleading for help to put us in jail as well. And 2 weeks before I was getting sentenced for that, it was a Section 18 GBH. I pleaded guilty to the Section 20, which is the lesser charge, without the intent.
Without the intent,
And 2 weeks before I was getting sentenced for that, I was at a house party in my house. My sister lived in the next street down. And her best friend started going out with this lad who was a local smackhead, full of Valium. Pre-warned them, I said, listen, whatever you do, don't let him in your house, because I know what he's all about. So she didn't take my advice, let him in the house. 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm down the street with my friends partying. My phone rings, it's my sister blaring her eyes out down the phone. This lad who she'd let in the house had battered her all over. So I've just picked a machete up, because I always had tools in my house. Went running down the street, but by the time I've getting there, the coppers are flying all over. Obviously the coppers have been caught at the disturbance. He's been locked up for what he's done to my sister. So I went back home and I vowed to get revenge on him. But 2 weeks later, I'm sitting at my sister's house, typical weekend. This was on a Sunday, we'd been on a binge all weekend. Sitting drinking the usual again, like either cider or
Yeah,
my mate used to drink Lamborghini.
Yeah,
That was the last drink, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
But anyways, the phone's ringing, picks it up, and it's the lad that's battered me sister, griefing it down the phone. So I've just said, you know how you're talking to? And he's like mouthing back, saying, I don't give a fuck. I said, right, fair dues. Put the phone down, rang me other mate, come and pick me other mate up who I was with. Balaclavas on machetes, went to his door, just booted the door clean off, ran in. His lasses jumped up, screaming, ran out the house, left him. He's still sitting on the settee, and I've just started chopping at him, chopping at his head, chopping at his arms. My mate's in front with another big chair, chiv, trying to stab him. He's grabbing it by his hands, and as he's grabbing that, I'm just whacking away with a machete. And then my mate's dragged us off because he shit himself, seen how 4 hours going. And then we've just ran out the house, jumped in the car, took off.
Well, how far you were going was all the way.
Oh, it
wasn't
was,
it, in the moment?
Took off. Later on that night, someone had seen us running into the car. A witness had seen the registration of my mate. The coppers have went to his house, locked him up, told him that the lad's dying, it's going to be a murder charge. He's passed out in the interview room, woke up crying, fucking it was Ricky Colleen, it was nothing to do with me. So the coppers were then looking for me. Same again. I'd been on my toes for about a week, been getting pissed up, but it was a week before my 21st birthday. And I knew if I waited any longer, when I got arrested, I'd be going straight to Durham. But in my head, that same scenario, I always wanted to experience the young offenders, as mad as it sounds. So I've handed myself in the police.
Well, hearing it again, and I've heard it, you know, this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy of this is going to end with serious prison time and I'm going to jail. And while I'm going on tour, I'd like to just drop into the young offenders to experience that. I mean, it's the mindset, isn't it? When, you know, looking back on it, you must think, you know.
That's why I'm doing things different for my kids, you know.
Indeed, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Curious Matter Productions, turning up the volume on society's forgotten voices. The series Hope in Hell is a platform for amplifying raw, real stories of survival, despair and triumph, told through open, honest and powerful conversations, because no matter what life throws at you, there's always hope.
So sorry you went to casting.
My best mate had been in there, told us all about it, so again, you want to be like your best mates, you want to be like your dad, you want to be...
Yeah.
So... They were same thing about a week before my 21st birthday, pissed up, went to the police station, same cop shop, banging on the window. They've looked up, not that lunatic again. Saying, what do you want? Said, it's me, I'm wanted. So they took us around the back again, took us to Concert police station. This time it was a no comment. Yeah, obviously solicitor said, you need to no comment this. So we took the solicitor's advice. And then the next morning, magistrates remanded, and I'm in the sweatbox and the paddy wagon on the way to Cassington. And I remember going up the back roads and that and sitting in the back, Galaxy radio on. And I'm just botting away thinking, yes, I'm on my way now.
All right.
This is it. And just for people who don't know, Castington...
It's now high.
Yeah, it's in Northumberland.
It's now Northumberland. I used to be the young offenders up in here. But it's Ackland and Cassington's all one big prison now. So yeah, on my way there, just thinking, yes, I'm on my way now, finally getting what I wanted. Went into there and it was just like a youth club. New Monkey music on, which is the rave music, after dark and all that. All the music blaring in the rare room, and it's just like a youth club. All the young and
there was young criminals from all over the country though. When I was there, I don't know if it was still when you were there, because I'm 10 years older than you. So
well, you had like in there, it's not like the adult prisons. In the association room, you've got like the Scousers, not the Scousers. You've got the Middlesbrough lads, Sunderland lads, Geordies, County Durham lads, and then...
Well, when I was there was people from... Because it was one of the long-term YPs in the country at the time. I mean, this was the early 90s. So there was people in London, Birmingham, Scotland. I mean, I'd never been out of Bear Park. Do you know what I mean? And I was quite... Even though I was a little criminal, I was very, very naive. And meeting all these people from the cities and hearing what they had to say and how they operated had a profound effect on me. And... There was a lot of fighting because I think I was there 2 years. There was a lot of fighting to be done there. It was violent, like. And I know you had a couple of scraps up there, didn't you?
I would like to see it. First time in, there was a lad that was picked up on the bus from Newcastle Crown Court. His first time in, So there's me and him, and then there's another lad in reception who'd been in and out. He was only 18, but he'd been in since he was 15, done a few years in and out, so he knew the ropes. And obviously with me growing up around a lot of people I'd been to prison, I knew the score, what was going to happen. I knew people were going to try and put the pressure on you.
Yeah.
And this young'un is looking at me and this other lad thinking, I'm going to put the pressure on you.
Yeah.
Little does he know I'm looking at him thinking, I'm going to put the fucking pressure on you if you try it.
Yeah.
So the other lad was the total opposite of me. 2 newbies, I knew the score, he didn't. You'd see he's shitting himself, shaking, and I'm saying, listen, just call me Sel. So he's trying to pressure us, this kid, saying stuff and all that. And we went back to the wing, I think it was a day or 2 later, and I walked past the pool tables to go in the air showers, and he's put his foot out to try and trip us up.
Yeah.
So I've just turned round fucking screaming at him, saying, get in the showers now, you little bastard. And he's like, whoa, I'm just joking, man, I'm carrying on, man, what's the matter with you? But that was a test. If I hadn't reacted to that,
You've got to set your stall
then
out. Yeah.
he would have took the piss.
Yeah.
Then it would have been saying, give us some of your canteen, give us your tobacco, and them sort of things. So that's the test that people need to realise when they go to prison. Can you handle that when you're not intoxicated, when you're sober, and you're in that environment of people putting the pressure on you?
Aye.
But yeah, so I was in there for 2 months, had a few fights like that. Like every day there was fights. Most of the time I got on alright, obviously being a big lad and that as well, and being a decent lad. But one of the times we got dragged down the block over a game of pool. But I come out in a bit of a mood this day thinking, like, if anyone fucks on, I'm fucking going for it this time. So it was over a game of pool, something trivial, that's what happens in prison. Daft little game of pool. Wasn't your shot or something daft like that. So we're going at each other. The screw, canny little lad, and he says, shouted out, he says, Colleen, just leave it. Where are you going back to your pad? All right, fair enough. So we're going back to a pad, down the corridor, and I've just walked beside him, just smashed him as hard as I could, just fucking bang.
Yeah.
Knocked him to the floor, but he's bounced up as quick as I knocked him down, getting stuck straight back in. So both of us just going at it, screws fucking dragging us apart, ripped us down the block. That was my first time behind the door, two weeks behind the door, no TV, no nothing, and again I wasn't really bothered.
Yeah.
But because we got put back on the wing, the lads were, when I was getting open for a shower, chucking a radio in, so...
Yeah. And I mean, it was, that particular, was a violent place. It definitely totally was, you know, I had some adventures in there myself. I mentioned one before, getting surrounded with guys by toothbrushes with the razors in. And I made a knife in motor bodies. Can you remember motor bodies? They had the garage and the spray bears.
Right.
I made a knife with a tin cutter. And when I look back, I was walking around with that.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, and I was saying to Tom, a guy stole me orange and I was getting parole. And I remember thinking, I've got to kill him because he took a liberty on me. He stole me orange and everyone knows and he's made I'm a joke. But I was getting out of jail and he was doing 20 years. You know, so I had to really fight with myself, or I could have been doing 20 with him. Over, can you imagine that in court over an orange? Do you know what I'm saying?
That's the mindset in there, innit?
That was the mindset, and that's what's really interesting when Ricky talks. Hearing that mindset of, this is it. I'm destined to go to jail, and that's where I'm going. And then we'll on the whistle stop tour. That was quite long. We'll get Castigton out the way, and then from there, obviously Crown Court and stuff. I imagine. Went
to Crown Court, obviously by this time 21-year-old. They were going to send us back to Castletown, but the judge had said, right, put him in Durham, he's 21-year-old now. But when you go into Durham, compared to that type of prison, obviously young offenders, looks more like I say a youth club, fucking army barracks, not. Then you go into Durham, which you know about. You get off the sweatbox, you look up, and you see Earwing, just a big old Victorian prison, and you're thinking, fucking hell, this is quite intimidating.
It's dark ages, isn't it?
It is, You can just sense the atmosphere, just like doom and gloom, and like, obviously, like I say, like...
It was even worse in Gary's day, because they used to slop out, didn't they? It was just a cave. It was literally a cave, like.
Well, I was saying this, so I didn't have many people around me who'd been to prison. We were breaking the law and getting up to all kinds of stuff, but there was no mentor, there was no one to say, when you get to jail, someone might put it on your, you know, don't ever borrow anything or don't get it. So you're learning on the job. Exactly. And I was in Low Newton, which again, you know, that's had its violence and it was jail. But when I got into Durham, I went down underneath the tunnel because they had the tunnel at the time. Up into Durham, and I remember thinking, just like you, whoa, you know, this is mad, the big long wings. And I went in a cell and had a bucket in the corner. and they shut the door. Now, I didn't even know you got shipped out. So I'm sitting there thinking, I've got another 4 years of this, this is heavy, 23 hours a day. And then they came and obviously shipped us to Castington and all that, you know. So going into Durham then?
So going into Durham again, like you go up into the reception room there was a lot different. Obviously, you go up the stairs. The screws sort of test you as well to see how you're going to react. Put a bit of pressure on you, and then obviously the screws can take the piss out of you if you don't stand up for yourself as well. And then you get put in the holding room with about another, depending on how busy it is, could be 20, 30 lads. Most of them fresh in off the street, itching for whatever drugs they've craving for. Obviously, there was a lot of baccy back then. There was tobacco still in the prison, so if you smoked, lads were saying, give us some of them, or trying to take it off the other lads.
Currency.
Again, it was just like a
I know that reception was your favourite part of the job, wasn't it?
chaos in there, wasn't it?
Madness, man. It's even worse now, like. Because it wasn't all remand when you came in, but it's all remand now. All remands go to Durham, like, and the footfall's just massive. There's just not enough staff.
Freshing off the street as well, they want it, like itching for whatever.
I think it must be more daunting if you don't know prison. You know, somebody like yourself, you've been to Castington, you know, your dad's involved in crime and that sort of stuff. But you can see when a fresh fish comes in,
well, there was like a lad actually who was actually called Ricky as well, who I actually become friends with because he came to Franklin with us. And he was like that, fresh. He looked like a college lad. He got into an altercation in a nightclub, and he glassed someone in the nightclub. He ended up getting IPP. So I'm in reception with him, and I could see by looking at him, he's like, his eyes are all over, he's like that. He didn't have a clue, and he's like thinking, what the fuck?
Because there is a lot of fear, isn't there? You know, if you've never been, there is fear of the unknown, and you know, it's one of them. You've got to get on top of it, haven't you?
But even like talking about that fear and that anxiety can cause you trouble, because when you're in that room, you're feeling a bit fear, feeling a bit anxious, and you're thinking, these can see that I'm anxious here. I need to do something to one of them if they're gonna fuck on. And it's like you build something up in your head that's nothing there.
You have to wear a mask, don't you? And again, coming back to Castington, when I first went there, he's dead now. Mr. Blenkin's upset. You could get raped in here. Now I didn't know if he was winding us up or not. He goes, "Oh, you'll get all your stuff took. You'll be taxed. You know, or you have to fight." I was like, "Who have I got to fight? I'll fight anyone. You know, I'm ready to go." And I'll never forget. I went in the shower. And there was a guy in the shower with us. I won't say his name, but he said to us, "What you're in for?" And I thought, right. I turned around and I says, "I stabbed somebody 9 times." I thought, right, that's me. I says, "What you in for?" He says, "I shot my mum and dad dead with a crossbow." I still had the Vorzine in my eyes. I said, "See you, mate." Take care, and got on. Because then I thought to myself, and I remember saying to my personal officer, Mr. Warrior, "What am I doing here with these?" And he went, "You're violent, son. Welcome to the machine." And that was it. Do you know what I mean? So Durham then, regale us with more Durham stories. So you're in Durham.
So in Durham, what's it called? The first wing you go on to? Induction. Induction wing was actually C wing in 2006.
Aye.
So it was on there. The C wing's is one of the smallest wings in it.
74. Aye.
The sink's about that big. Toilet in the middle of at the end of the pad. You've got to share it with someone else. Degrading having to have a shit in front of someone. But in Durham, all the nonces were mixed in with each other, in with everybody else. So that's where the only times in Durham when I had a bit, not trouble, but obviously battered a couple, was actually the nonces. Because I think it was every Thursday the Chronicle used to get dished out of the prison.
And then someone would
and then the cleaners would come round. If they found out someone on the wing was obviously a nonce, they'd chuck the Chronicle under the doors of the lads who they knew would do something. So we found out there was nonces on the wings. Obviously they got battered and got sent off the wing. I did boot one down the stairs once when I was walking down for dinner. Because you used to have to obviously cross on the up and down the staircase.
I remember the governor, it was Niall Clifford, was the governor at the time. And the idea behind it was, if you take a nonce in, you can have a telly. And it just didn't work out like.
No, I was actually in prison when that initiative was happening. So of course I declined. So you haven't been sentenced yet, but you're in Durham.
I was in Durham. I was actually in for 6 months. I'd done 2 months in Castington, 4 months in Durham. And after 6 months, I've come up for trial.
Did you know that there was a possible IPP sentence?
They told us about it, but
And because a lot of people don't understand what an IPP is. Do you want to tell us?
IPP is imprisonment for public protection, which is a 99-year sentence. And you'll not be released until the parole board see fit that you'll be released back into society. Yeah, it came out nearly 20 years ago now. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of lads been in nearly 20 years on that sentence when they could have been out after 12 months. Yeah. And they're still in there now.
And I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to that because I think that's really important to mention. So, you go on trial. You've gone guilty.
I went guilty for the first one.
For the original Section 20.
And then the other one, I was running the trial for that.
Right.
On obviously what my solicitor and that had said.
Yeah.
Because when he tells us what sentence I was going to get, I thought he says you might as well
take a
go on the
swing
trial. Because if you get if you go guilty or whatever, he says you're going to get the same.
Well, I never knew because I was out of crime and stuff, and I ended up in a fight, and it was a occasion and actual bodily harm, which is a Section 47. Mm-hmm. And I didn't take it lightly because I thought I'm in a bit of trouble here because I've got a violent history. But I went to Crown Court, and the barrister Rachel Hedworth said, well, this is serious. And I said, look, if I've got to do a couple of years, I understand. I think it's a bit rough. It's a couple of years. But with my history, she went, no, you could get an IPP. And I went, what's one of them? I generally never knew, right? And she says, oh, well, it's an indefinite sentence. So in effect, it's a life sentence. I went, whoa, I've got to admit in that moment, the fear of God went through me because I'm just thinking, tops, I'll do 6 months or a year. But because of my history, and that was 2006. So yeah.
I think there was over 100 specified offences what you could actually get the IPP for. Didn't even know there was that many offences that you could commit.
And there was a when the Home Secretary did it, there was a lot. It wasn't set in stone, was it? So some judges were dishing it out,
but they didn't have a clue when they were
doing it.
And
they were just giving it, handing this massive sentence out, to people, and a lot of damage, as you said, got done. So you ran the trial then.
Well, I went to trial, and the driver, who was my friend before that, didn't turn up at court because he'd been battered on the outside and made not to go to court from someone. So he didn't turn up at court. The judge was foreman because the prosecutor had actually given the judge the reason why he didn't come. His mother had been on the phone saying he's not coming because of this.
Yeah.
So the judge is foreman, and he's put the trial off for another 2 months to try and get him back. Mm-hmm. So I went back to jail, spoke with me barrister, and he says, I'm going to try and get you judge in chambers, which means like bail.
Yeah.
He says, because if you've been in for 6 months without having a trial, or your trial comes up and something like this happens, you can't get bailed. Mm-hmm. So I got bailed on the Friday. My mates were waiting for us outside of Durham, straight on the drink, straight on, all weekend off it.
On the gear.
And then for them 2 months, I was just pissed up and same, nothing had changed.
And that, I've been there on bail for when I was on bail for 5 Section 18s in an affair. And I was on bail for 16 months. And the judge, Helen Palin, said, how on earth are you still walking the streets? Which is amazing to me. You know what I mean? How can you be walking the streets on that? But I was. But that limbo that you're in isn't a nice place to be. You're free, but you're not free because you've got the spectre of that hanging over you. Mm. And you do use, because you're self-medicating, because you know what's coming or what could come. So it's a frightening situation, a heavy situation to be in.
So I was up on trial on the Wednesday, and I've been sessioning all weekend on that weekend.
Yeah.
And someone who I was partying with says, my pal's got some trips. I never had them before. The paper trips. So I've had them on the Saturday night.
LSD, yeah?
LSD. Mm-hmm. Couldn't sleep. I've went home, everyone's like, the party's finished. I went back home on the Sunday, and my mind's just in fucking overdrive.
Probably the worst thing you could have ever done, isn't it?
Well, it lasted. It got to the Tuesday, because I'm still living at home with my mum at the time where I've been bailed out. Yeah. And she said, what's the matter? I said, I can't tell. I said, my head's done in. Mm. She actually rang me nana to get us a 20 mil to Mazepam to try and calm us down. Went up on trial, and no wonder I got found guilty, because I was just sat in the dock with a t-shirt on like this, just with my head hung like that. They must have looked at us and thought,
it's nailed on.
He just looked like an innocent man, doesn't he?
Guilty.
So anyways, I got found guilty. The lads who I attacked, he stood up. He said he didn't know who I was because I had the balaclava on. His girlfriend stood up, said it was me. She recognised my eyes, my lips, and my voice. So I was convicted through my voice. They took her word that the 3 words, where is he, was enough to convict us.
Which, in retrospect, I mean, I know you did it, and obviously there's the, and we're not, making light of the victim and all of this.
Of course not.
We understand that. But that there really is insufficient evidence, isn't it? It is, to get you a guilty and get you a life sentence.
But again, that jury, they'll have been speaking with each other in the room and saying, have you seen the way he's conducted himself? He's like, so that'll have had a big thing to play with it.
Yeah.
So I got found guilty. And bearing in mind, an hour or two beforehand, I was out on the streets as a free man. Got found guilty. No pre-sentence reports, no nothing. Sentenced. Judge says I'm 8 years, 4 years IPP. All of this is just, to me, I'm like, thinking what's going on. I've looked back at my mother and that in the gallery as I'm getting took away. And I
Shell shocked.
I was just like, I couldn't even speak. I just waved at them and just away.
And again, coming back to the IPP, when you hear 4 years, it's in your mind, I've got 4 years to do.
You do,
But the gravity of it is much more than that, isn't it? Or could be much more than that. Because
Like
nobody really understands it, is it, at the start of the IPP?
If you mess around when you're inside, if you take drugs, getting into fights, anything like that, you're just going to keep getting knockback after knockback after knockback, which has happened with a lot of the lads. But a lot of the lads can't cope inside a prison, so they're using the drugs as a cope mechanism, but that's keeping them in prison. So it's just an ongoing vicious circle.
So the work I've done in prisons and working with people doing IPP sentences, it's what I always found, right, was just that lack of hope and that uncertainty. Because if you got an 8 or a 10 or even a 20, you can say to me, well, I'm out then. If I keep myself right and I work the system, that's when I'm going home. But I say to you, when you're going home, you say sometime in the next 99 years. I mean, it's just
soul destroying, isn't it?
It's a really, and everyone I've met who's doing that sentence, what they were doing, I mean, some of the guys I knew, didn't I? One of the guy on a cross you were on, I knew him from the house. I'd done a little bit with him many years ago, and his friend I'd done some with anyway. And he had mobiles because he needed contact with the outside world. And then to survive, because he had no money, he's breaking the law. Doing whatever and then obviously the officers are getting him with the phones, catching him with the drugs. And that sentence just stretches off into eternity, doesn't it?
Well, there's a lad I was in with who I was in on a recall. He was an Indian lad, become good friends with him, Singy. He was doing a 4-year IPP, done 6 year, done his courses, most of them, kept his head down. There was one course he needed to do, which he couldn't get it done because it wasn't his fault, because it wasn't in that prison.
That's right.
So after 6 years, even though he was 2 years over, kept his head straight and everything, never had no nickings. They said, well, we need you to do this course. So you're going to have to go to another prison. So they've given him a 2-year knockback to give him time to do the course. He couldn't handle that situation, so the spice just come on the scene at the time. He thought, I'll give this a try. He tells us exact how he described it when he took it. He was out of prison. He was out of his head all day long, but it felt like he hadn't been in prison. So if he went on the spice for 2 weeks, he wasn't in jail for 2 weeks. So he kept doing that. Come up for this next hearing, he'd had piss tests, positive drug tests, and they're now saying, right, we're knocking you back for 2 years because you've given us a piss test. So 10 years has gone by. And he could have been out after 4 year or 6 year, but now he's using drugs, he can't get out. It's
and I know
the thing with the IPP is I can understand why, because it's to target like habitual offenders and stuff like that. But what they didn't have was the infrastructure for people to work their way through that.
The system.
So the course you need to do might be in Garth, but Garth's full, so they cannot send them. So they languish in Durham for years, and we're not able to push them out.
Well, and again, what you were hearing, say if it was Ricky. At the time they were saying, right, this course is only run on the Isle of Wight or wherever, but there's a 3-year waiting list because there's that many people doing an IPP. So all of a sudden, that's another 4 year on your sentence.
So the logistics weren't there to deal with the IPP.
You've got to wait to get transferred, then you've got to wait to do the course. And a lot of the times I've known lads who've actually went through that process, got to the prison, and then they said the prison no longer does the course. Knock it on the head. And he's still in
started
that
out again.
So,
and then they wonder why they turn to drugs,
So the enormity of getting that sentence then, because I think quite often you see people got. I mean, I've looked at life a few times. I've been on trial where I could have got life stuff, and what we find as well when we're doing the work, people who've just getting a life sentence quite often are not accepting of it, or they don't like it hasn't kicked in.
Hasn't dawned on
the
them.
enormity of them years ahead. I mean, when the COVID happened, we had one young guy. He'd just getting a 25-year recommendation, and he said to us, "Gary, you know they're letting people go with COVID. Do you think they'll let me go?" And I was like,
he genuinely believed it.
And another gang member from London, he was like, "I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that." I said, "Listen, you've got a 30-year recommendation." It hadn't clicked. So was that a similar thing with you, or did you?
But you wanted to go. You wanted to get to Franklin, didn't you?
I did. But it sort of was like that as well, because obviously I've said this before, and I've done my podcast and done on my channel, like, be careful what you wish for. I wanted to go to prison, but I didn't want an IPP. I didn't want that sentence. But when I was back in Durham, bumping into lads, and they were saying, like, obviously, you know, I tell everyone, asks what sentence you're doing, what you're doing, just having a bit of chit-chat. And they're like, "Oh, IPP, you're going to be in for 20 years. And I was just like, "Oh." Shut us down and says, "No, I'll be out after 4. Like, I'm just doing 4. That's what I was saying in my head, you know, I had to get through it. But it was sort of like that, what you said, like, you just think, I'll be out in 4. It's not a life sentence. And the same when you get to Franklin, that was a baby sentence compared to what they're doing in Franklin. But over there, they're still the same. They're saying, "Oh, you're going to do at least 10 years.
And going and I mean, luckily I've never been in the dispersal system, very nearly a number of times. But going into the dispersal system and the way that the jails run and you know the people that's in the dispersal system, you know, big gangsters, all of that, being confronted with that as a young man. And I know, did you bump into your dad in Franklin?
That was one of the reasons why I was asking to go there, because obviously when you're doing that type of sentence, the lifer manager comes and sees you and he says, "Right, you've got 3 choices. If the first choice is full, you go to your second choice. Which ones do you want?" And I said, "Franklin, go off and somewhere else." And they were like, "Franklin, are you mad?" And I was like, So I went on the wing and I was telling the lads, I kept shouting on the source, saying to the screws, saying, "Hey, when am I getting moved to Franklin?" And like everyone stopped and looked and saying, "You're going to Franklin?" They're like, "You must be mental." I says, "I want to go and all that." And they were like, shaking their heads, couldn't believe it, saying, "You're mad for wanting to go there." But like I say, it was another thing like Cassington. I wanted to go there. My first experience of that, there was about 6 of us got transferred over there, IPPs. The lad I mentioned before, Ricky, he was one of them. And the holding cell was a lot different over there. It was a smaller room, 6 of us in the room, all looking around, looking at each other. You'd see the anticipation, people saying, "What's going to be happening here?" And then you look on the walls, it's got inscribed on the walls, "Welcome to hell." And it's like, oh, fucking hell.
Was that right?
So like I say, I started getting the giggles, because when I get nervous, I start giggling. So I'm in the room and I'm looking about. These one of them was lying on the floor, just like looking at the walls, and I'm just standing giggling, and they're looking at me thinking, "What the fuck's he doing?" But it's because I was getting a bit nervous as well, you know. But I went up onto the wing, bumped into our friend who we were on about before, or an old associate, who was friends with me dad. And this one of the screws had said to me, "Dad, have you got a brother or something?" I said, "No." He says, "With someone called Colleen, who you were late, who was in reception." He says, "Oh, it's my son." He says, "Well, didn't let them know. I've told you he's on his way up." So I went up. My dad was actually in the workshops when I landed on the wing, but he told a few of the other lads keep an eye out for him. So it was like all the cleaners were out, and it was like they're all up standing up the seats. It was like standing ovation. "Oh, you must be Peter's young and I." So they're all welcome to Zin. Took us in the pod, give us a big ghetto blaster thing, and
get the welcome pack.
And I was like, "Oh, sweet." I remember that night, door shut, looking out onto the exercise yard, had me blaster on, tunes on, and I'm just standing bottom of my head, like looking at the yard, thinking, "I've made it now. I'm in the top prison in the country and all that." Like what a mindset to be in at that age, you know what I mean?
Putting yourself there in that mindset's just like, it's something to hear.
But surrounded by gangsters, hitmen, murderers, serial killers.
And like you say, your 8-year IPP, which could have been 99, there was people in there doing 40s. Was anyone doing natural life? Yeah. So it's a lot to be confronted with.
Lads doing life without parole. People, some people's killed 3 and 4 people and that. And it was like, but again, it was that sort of intrigued by it and like sort of, how can I describe it? Like sort of excited by it. That I was surrounded by all these people that I looked up to as a kid.
Yeah.
But what kid looks up to people like that, you know what I mean, and buzzing because they're locked up in there?
One of the worst things that ever happened to me when I was 14, I read The Profession of Violence by John Pease and the Craze.
Oh.
I read that and I was so impressionable and into crime. I thought, that's how you do it then. You just use violence as a tool, and then you'll get people's respect. And that was because you are impressionable. You know, you are. So you're in Franklin then, you know, with the likes of our friend, your father. I mean, how long were you there with your dad and stuff?
Yeah, I was in there for 3 years in tours. I was in there about just under 3 years. My dad got moved just before me.
Yeah.
So, but in Franklin, I've mentioned this before, and I've mentioned on the HMP Franklin documentary, like the second day I was in there, in the kitchens, because on the wings, at the end of the wing, each wing has got a kitchen, so you can cook your food, your own food.
You get in the food board, don't you?
Aye.
Yeah.
And obviously I was getting a welcoming steak, so I'm in the kitchen, my mates peppercorn on the steak and everything, fucking get the steak ready. And we'll look over and we'll see this big pan of oil just bubbling away. And we'll look at each other and thought, something's going on here. And as we said that, there's a terrorist in the kitchen washing his dishes. The lads come in, picked the pan up and just went behind him as he's doing his dishes and just tipped it over his head. His hair, his skin, everything just peeling off, run down the back of his head. And we were like, oh, fucking hell, let's get out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
But that lad had darted out the kitchen. The terrorist and another Jamaican fella actually went after him and went in the pan and started rolling about with him after it had happened.
Even when he was, when he's had his face.
People have said he must have been squealing. He actually didn't even make much of a noise. He just turned around and knew what had happened, you know.
Yeah.
But that was Darren Barrett, who was head of the Al Qaeda,
I know his
serving
name.
a 40-year life sentence recommendation.
Yeah. And I hadn't realised that he gave chase when he'd had his face melted off. Wow, man, unreal.
But then the feeling after that, because obviously the Muslim Brotherhood, it didn't matter that he was a terrorist, but he's a Muslim, so they're all stick together.
Protected.
Yeah. So the atmosphere on the wing.
Some of the Muslims, I mean, we all got on with them as well. Some of them are big blokes, fucking bigger than me.
Yeah.
And they've all just, about 10 of them just come round the corner, walking round and that, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't know who it was, looking at all of us, and they're thinking, nah.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was just tense. It was.
Yeah.
Wasn't a rare. Wasn't
And
very
I
nice.
mean, you're talking about really dangerous. I mean, I often say this: it can go wrong in prison. Some of the prison documentaries, some of my friends have said, "Well, it doesn't look that bad," and I was like, "Look." Belmarsh was on, and one of my friends said, "Well," I said, "Look, when it goes wrong, even in Castington or in Durham or Lone Newton or whatever,
it's a different
but
level.
I tend to think the level of violence in Franklin's a whole new thing, because if you've got nothing to lose, you're going to go for the kill.
They're not running at you with a fist. They're running at you with tools, whatever they can find. They're going to try and kill you in them jails.
Yeah.
What's the point in running in with a fist when, you know?
Well, you can't have someone coming back, can you, as well, you know, in that situation. So very dangerous.
Would you say, I mean, it wasn't prevalent back in the day when I first joined the job, but it seems to be more prevalent, certainly down south. Is it as bad up north in like Franklin for the Muslims controlling wings? It
wasn't as bad back then, but obviously I've spoke with people who's actually still in there now, and it's 10 times worse than what it was.
I think the whole nature of the system has changed, hasn't it? You know, and again, you know, things, you know, I see female officers getting knocked out, people being attacked, prison officers being attacked. I know prison officers always got attacked, but I think even the violence that's used against the staff and stuff's changed to a certain degree. I mean, you might chuck a bucket of excrement over an officer, you know, shit them up, as they would say. But I think chucking oil in someone's face and stuff like that didn't really happen when I was in jail. You know, you would say to you, get your keys off and let's have a fight. And I know you did do that, you know, from time to time. But that was the old days, wasn't it?
Yeah, but now, I mean, back in the day, like a female officer, certainly in Gary's day, they got cons used to protect them. Not now.
Well, I
it's
think
just
you
a
as
different.
well. You definitely, I think, coming through, there was that. I mean, look, I'm not trying to say it, give it a romantic image, but there seemed to be some rules to crime and criminality and within the prison. And I think with the addition of the drugs, the spice you mentioned, the nature of prisons changed completely, hasn't it? You know, totally, in many, many different ways. There doesn't, you know, we see it because we work in there.
They used to say it on Among Thieves. I think there was more then than there ever is now. It's just full of grasses, if I'm honest.
I think for us, definitely, and I know Ricky feels like this, if there was a problem with us, we're looking for each other. Or you might look for my friend, or my friend looks for your friend.
Aye.
What I would never do, and I know you wouldn't do it, is attack the wife, the sister, the kids, the house where there's children. That's never been, like, things have changed dramatically.
What you would call as a proper criminals wouldn't act like
things
that.
The whole nature of everything's changed. And I think, I remember working in the prison about 8 years ago, and there was young guys from down south, and they were like, oh, we're going to get his sister. And I said, look, you're watching too much Scarface. That's not right. They're not criminals. They're civilians. You know, but like you say, the whole nature's changed.
Doing stuff like that, your classes are wrong and on you. Have you gone?
It's never been.
Like chuck acid on someone's sister or something like that.
It's changed. It's changed.
Yeah. Just to get at somebody else.
So the IPP then, I'm interested in the psychology of how you got through that first sentence, because I know I'll come to the recall and stuff. But what gave you the hope in a hopeless situation, and how did you get through? You know, because obviously you're not the guy to use spice. That would never happen. No. So how, you know...
I never used what you call as like prison drugs. It was always subbies, and there was smack, obviously, in Franklin. But we did have some parties in there. There was hooch.
Drink.
Obviously, the Irish lad, Rob, he was the best brewer on the wing. And you could get that much hooch, and you'd be pissed more. But the dangerous thing about that as well, a violent person on that hooch, it brings out the violence in you.
Of course, And
I found myself feeling like I did when I was out. I was like wanting to fucking do someone in and wanting to fight.
Well, there's a lot of frustration, a lot of aggression. That's in you anyway. And I think one of the things I never realised, you're hyper vigilant all of the time. You're on a level all of the time. You're looking at people's body language, like you said before. You come out of a cell, I know instantly he's having a bad day. I swerve him. Do you know what I mean? Or certainly in Durham, how many times have you just looked round and caught someone's eye and they say, what are you looking at? And then it's off. So you're hyper vigilant to everything, aren't you? You can see what's going to happen, you know, even what you've just said about being in the kitchen, someone's off of you. And it doesn't leave you, you know, and even when you get out of jail, it's there, isn't it? You know, for years, I wouldn't put my back to it anywhere. If I'm in a place, my back's to the wall, it's, you know, there was weapons all over the house, the whole deal at one point. It doesn't leave you. So you use the gym and different stuff in Franklin to get
I use the gym, obviously. What I will mention as well, I started experiencing mental health problems, anxiety and depression. But the anxiety was the worst, because if I was sitting in a pad like this with a few and it was like close quarters like this talking, I'd start having these funny feelings, like I fucking just wanted to run out the pad because I couldn't physically sit there. And I was thinking, what the fuck's happening here? I actually ended up going to the doctors about it, and he told us I went and seen the CPM, which is a community psychiatric nurse, and they said it's anxiety, what you're experiencing. But because all them years, the past decade, I've been off my head and intoxicated, and then all of a sudden I'm sober in this environment, close environment, and I'm having these feelings of anxiety. I'm like, didn't know what it was, didn't know what mental health problems were.
So you're masking it and self-medicating, and then you're naked, aren't you, with your feelings. And I'm glad you mentioned the CPM, because there's some good healthcare professionals in the prison. People who really do care and they want to help you, as there is officers, you know, and all of that. So
So I was seeing them, and they tried us on a few different types of medication, and all of them seemed to make us worse. There's one instance that stuck out, that they give us this tablet, I can't remember what it was, and when I went out on association, it's just made the anxiety 10 times worse. And I'm like, someone's talking to me face, and I'm like, they can see what's happening here. They can see, and then that's when you start getting your back up thinking, it's like the head's racing, and it's like
awful.
Horrible feeling. So I tried about 5 or 6 different types of medication, and in the end, they were all making us worse. And what made us better was going to the gym, training like mad, got myself as fit as out, strong as out, eating the good foods. But then I would put myself in the situations that I was feeling funny in, and I would stay there until I felt all right. And then I started feeling better. And then obviously getting an understanding of what was actually happening. So that was my experiences with that. And then every few months, when you're doing a big sentence like that, you would get bouts of depression. It would just come on all of a sudden, and then it felt like you were walking around like that, like. And people can see it, but you know, you become best mates with some lads inside now who you're with every day for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And we used to piss ourselves laughing at each other because I would know when he was feeling that.
Yeah.
And I would look at him and his face is like that. And then we would just laugh at each other, but we'd get each other through it.
Well, you're living in such close proximity. You can make a brother out of someone, can't you? You're so close, and you're seeing each other every day. And aside from talking about crime and stuff, if you trust somebody, you strip yourself bare, don't you? And you know each other really well. It's crazy.
So obviously I was dealing with that, and then as I mentioned, the hooch was sometimes 2-3 times a week. I would go to the gym, come back on a night time, the lads would be sitting in the pad and they'd have one ready for us, and I was like, oh, not again.
Yeah.
But like I say, I had it, and I'd go back on my pad, put my music on, lie in my bed and just have loads of violent fantasies, thinking about what I was going to do, what I wanted to do. And there was this one time, it was a Saturday, a sunny day, we were all out on the yard, tops off, walking around the yard, pissed up. And there was a lad walking around the yard in front of us who was in for killing an old bloke. And he put him behind the settee, and he was living in his house, claiming his benefits every week. And I was like, classed him as a nonce, and I said, he's getting at him. And the lad was saying, with my dad and our pal, was saying, listen, just leave it. And I says, no, he's getting it. I'm 21-year-old, tanked up, he's getting it. And I'm saying, right, next lap. One of the lads ended up saying, he goes, listen, what the fuck you doing? He says, you're IPP. He says, you batter him or do out to him. He says, you're done. He says, I'll tell you what. He says, I'm going to do it. So he just took it on his toes. He says, I'm going to do him fire. I'm a fixed term. So that sort of like shut us up for a bit anyways. And then that night when I went back to my pad, I was thinking about what I was going to do to him when the door got opened up. But then when I would wake up in the morning, sometimes fucking sink full of sick.
I was going to say, like, I've had a lot of drinks of hooch, and the hangovers are horrible. They are.
Sink full of sick, and I'm just lying on my bed, and I'm thinking, what was I thinking? Like them thoughts have gone. I'm not feeling violent. I'm thinking, and then I actually addressed it myself because I thought myself, I need to sort my head out. Like, can I keep going on like this? I'm 23 now. But when I was looking to the future, I could see I was wanting a wife, kids, business. I wanted the things that I never had. And I was looking at the people that I was around when I was out there, and they're out there making money, doing well for themselves, going on holidays, and I'm sitting in here like a muppet. I was thinking, half of these are the ones that's brainwashed us. And when I sat and thought about it, I thought, none of these have been to jail themselves. They used to sit and talk gangster crack full of that. I'm impressionable, knocking around with blokes, taking it all in, taking it to the next level. And they have never actually done it, they were just talking it.
And you're the one doing the life sentence.
Did any of them come to visit you, Ricky?
A couple of them did, a couple of them stuck by us, but a lot of them ended up washing my hands on them. That was another thing in prison. It was one of the hardest things to get over as well. See him walking around that yard with the same lad. He was 10 years older than me, so he's experienced all this before. And when I'm offloading, telling him stuff, he says, listen, it happens with all of us. He says, your friends don't stick by you. You go down on visits, they ghost you, they don't turn up.
Well, quite often people will hit the drink on the way, won't they? Or they've been partying all night.
You visit on a Saturday, they're still up partying.
Off the Friday.
They're not answering the phone, and then you're sat on a visit, looking round, everyone's got the family with them, and you're sitting like a divvy.
It's embarrassing, isn't it? Horrible.
I think you find out who your real friends are in prison, like.
Well, I always say, prison, you have a funeral, but you get to see who comes to church. It's one of them, isn't it? You'll see who sticks with you and who doesn't. So, So then, you come to release from the IPP sentence, what happens?
But I will, just before we get to that, I will talk about, because you always talk about the bad stuff in prison and that as well. And I always say the courses are a heap of shit, but there was one course that I actually done, which was a 6-month drug and alcohol course, a focus course, which was intense every day for 6 months. And I have mentioned this before as well, because I think it's worthy of mention, because it did actually change us. That's what helped change my mindset.
So I thought you'd done that on when you got the recall and stuff. So I was this was
in front of this, the 6-month drug and alcohol course. And there was 10 of us on the course. About 7 or 8 of them were in for murder. One of them was my friend, who I got friends with in there. And you had to do your life story, a bit like what we're doing now. But imagine doing it at that age, feeling vulnerable and not being able to open up. So I done my life story. And the thing that was holding me back was obviously what happened with my dad. which affected me massively and was holding me back. I never spoke about with anyone about how it was affecting me. And then I spoke about it on that group. And from that day forward, I could talk about it and I felt like a changed person.
Yeah.
And the another lad that was on the course with, his dad had died and he'd committed a murder because someone was burgling his mother's house when it was at the day of the dad's funeral or whatever it was on the night time. They have ended up going and killing the bloke. So he's opened up on the course as well. And I actually ran out of the room crying. I went out after him. And these are like people who's in for murder, like opening up. So it changed everyone on that course. So that was one of the courses that I will. The likes of ETS, enhanced thinking skills, and I just think they're a pile of shite. They're just ticky box things. But stuff like that where...
I think I did the first enhanced thinking skills in the country.
Did you?
Yeah. So that shows you how long that's been kicking
Only because you wanted parole, though.
Yes, absolutely. I did anything for parole, yeah.
A bit of a personal question. Sorry, Gary, a bit of a personal question. Have you ever had this conversation with your dad?
I've spoke about it with him,
did that help?
It did, but like I say, it helped when I'd done that and
Aye.
like being able to talk about it and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm glad that I was coming to it because I knew some work had been done.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, there is some good stuff happens in jail, and I think, I've done some good courses in jail myself.
Of course,
you learn to become self-aware and look within. And then even about your emotions and how, your thought process and stuff. You don't stop to think, do you? And that gave me the gift of being able to do that. And I see it often at work, look within.
Yeah.
Because it's there, isn't it, the answers? So, yeah.
So from there, I went up to Accrington. So I've done a full circle, landed back over there in Northumberland. And I was up there for a year and coming up for parole. And we'd been friends since the age of 18 and we'd never really been serious. But when I knew I was coming up for parole, I had like a year till me parole. She started coming up on visits and then we got serious. I opened up to her, same as what I was on about before, but I sent her a letter. In the morning I was thinking, should I send it? I was thinking, stuff it, so I've sent it. Sent her it, she felt exactly the same, sent the letter back. And then it just went from there. We're now married with 4 kids and living our best life.
It's a great romance story, isn't it?
It is, But I actually waited for us there, got me parole, waited for us outside the gate, and then I went and moved straight in. We've never even lived with each other before. And then,
it's meant to be, isn't it?
It was,
Well, it's sure it's meant to be. Yeah.
But for that first 2 weeks, getting out of jail is the best time ever. But imagine being in jail just over 5 years. And I couldn't sleep next to her. I was lying next to her. Fetting to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm still lying there wide awake. Any little movement and I was like, for fuck's sake, it was fucking horrible. It took us 2 weeks before I could settle.
And I think, and credit to you here, because I know this was difficult. The licence conditions being out, must have been incredibly difficult for you to deal with. And the people you've got to deal with who's in control of your life, it's a lot, isn't it?
Well, to be honest with you, when I first got out, obviously I had the licence conditions and it was difficult, but they weren't as strict as what they were when I'd been recalled and got back out.
Right.
But obviously there were certain things. You couldn't go on holiday, you couldn't stay out overnight without telling probation. You got to give them get approved for wherever you're staying and stuff like that. So it was challenging, but my probations that I had for the first few years, they were decent. Because they knew I was a decent lad. Obviously they recommended us for release and everything when I was first coming up. And they give us a chance. And I had decent ones for the first few years. Then I ended up getting an absolute dog who started putting us on. I was on every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks. And then after about 5 years, I was on like every 3 months. Then I just got put on to twice a year, every 6 months. I'd done one visit, got changed over probation officers. She's come from the police into probation, and she's called me into the office a week after me 6 monthly appointment. I was thinking, well, I've just been in, I'm not back for another 6 months. So I went in and straight off, it's just hit off to a bad start. You just tell she's just sitting looking as if we're in a police interview. I was thinking, what's all this for? I've been out in 5, 6 years. And then that's when it started getting difficult. Even though I'd been out all them years, I'm a successful businessman, got me kids, wife, married, everything. And then she's just jumped in like that and just started being an absolute dog.
And making you go back.
Mental health started kicking in, and it was all because of that.
Yeah.
Did you change the conditions, some of the conditions? Or did you
She put us back on every week. So when I see, I was like, why have you done this? And she says, because you're here, I want to get to know you. Like, I don't know you, so I have to sit there and tell her everything again, go over everything. I'll give you another appointment for next week. I said, why next week?
Yeah.
So every week I went in,
Yeah.
and then she was just like a police interview.
Yeah.
And it was just like sleepless nights thinking about it, doing me head in.
Horrendous.
Making things worse. But at that time as well, obviously everything had been going well in my life. My best friend had committed suicide, and I actually found him hanging on the back of the door. And I'm having to deal with this, and you're not wanting to tell them about it because obviously they found out about it because there was police not involved.
Yeah.
But you're not wanting to tell probation and open up about it. They never even ask you about it, ask if you're all right.
You don't want any change there,
Aye.
you know, and I think dealing with a terrible trauma as well, at the same time as going through all those restrictions and that control, awful. Terrible.
But when they're on top of you like that, it actually makes you rebel and go worse.
Yeah.
I was actually started drinking again, and then it just spiraled. I was drinking again on the Valium, on the sniff, and just started going like back over. Well, this was
And
just
self-medicating over finding your friend,
aye.
you know, trying to cope with all that.
Having flashbacks because I've tried to, maybe my other best friend who found him was trying to revive him, resuscitate him and all that, and obviously we couldn't. So I'm having to deal with all that. And then a year later, my wife's auntie done the same thing. And then a year after that, another one of my best friends done the same thing, hung himself.
Horrendous.
So I'm having to deal with all this and then deal with her on top.
Yeah.
And it was just like
A massive, awful like a trauma pressure cooker, isn't it?
Of course, sorry.
And that resulted in, did you get recalled?
I got recalled eventually. Like, I've been out for nearly 10 years. I was coming up to the 10-year mark, and she knew that as well. Obviously, after 10 years, you can apply to get it terminated. But it just seemed like from the off, she was just looking for something to get me onto recall list.
Yeah.
But the recall was a car offence, which was aggravated vehicle taking. It used to be called like TWOC.
Yeah.
But that offence, again, I was buying and selling cars, and I was pissed up. Again, I've spoke about this on other podcasts, but I don't know if you watched the one I sent you.
Yes,
I've spoke about it on there. Obviously now I'm off licence, I can tell the truth of the car offence.
Yeah.
Another instance that happened where my sister had been in a nightclub up in Stanley. Same thing again, some fucking idiot pissed up, and he's battered my sister. But me always being that protective brother of my sister.
Yeah.
Obviously the way we were brought up and everything.
Of course, mate,
I've
I still am now. You know, it's one of them.
I get me back up when someone does something to me family or my sister, right? So, but again, drinking and using drugs and all that, and then the way that my mindset used to be, obviously you're still going to have little bits of that inside of you.
It's always lurking.
It's always lurking.
And
then it's obviously coming back to the surface and the violent thoughts, and I'm thinking, he's took the piss, I'm going to fucking get him. So one night I'm sitting in the house, 10 o'clock at night, and this kid offered us a stolen car because he knew about buying and selling cars at the time. So I've rang him up, I says, I want that car. And he was like trying not to give us it because he knew I was pissed.
What the game was.
I says, I'm coming to get it. So I've getting a lift up, got a hammer, ammonia, mask and everything, fucking passport, £1,000 on the other sock, tub of blues, and I've went up, and he's like still trying not to. I says, get the fucking car now. I says, oh, you're going to get it. And he was like, oh, you can have it. So I've went to the lad's house. I'll not go into what happened.
Of course.
But luckily for him, I never got a hold of him. Nothing happened to him.
And for you.
And for me as well. I jumped back in the car. It was a brand new motor as well. Just being manufactured that year. So I've left from where I was, going over to Newcastle. Driving up past the Metro Centre about 12 o'clock at night. Not a car on the road. Sunday night. Bang. Like, oh shit, boom, boom, fucking blow out on the motorway.
Oh God.
So I'm fucking looking down, I've got a hammer, a bottle of ammonia, balaclava and all that. I think my cannot stop me, I'm on a stolen car. So the roundabout where Raoul Moat shot the copper, took a left off there. As I've come off, there's been a fucking busy car parked up, facing the motorway. I've drove down the bottom of the estate, looking in the mirror, fucking obviously still full of that in there as well, thinking shit they're coming. Even though I don't even think they were looking back, I'm thinking shit they're coming. So foot down, back on the motorway, flying up to the next turn off, about 80, 90 mile an hour.
With the tyre hanging off.
With the tyre hanging off. took a left turn up West of Hope, coming down towards the McDonald's. Still thinking I'm seeing flashing lights and that, so I went round the little roundabout, didn't even know where these back streets. And I thought, right, I'll get up the top of this street, ditch the car and I'm off. So I've put my foot down to get to the top and it's a dead end. So I'm putting my foot on the brakes, but the brakes didn't even work because I've been driving on that flat tyre. However that managed to work, I don't know, but it just wasn't working. Smashed into a parked car, that smashed into a house. Jumped out the car's rolling back down the streets. I've ran and stopped the car. 2 lads have come out who were on the kitchen session, like, what's going on here?
Oh, nightmare.
And then I've grabbed my passport and everything out the front and just fucking done one, started running away. And about an hour later, I've ended up near the fucking airport. It was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. And I've just fucking, I've been at the back of the airport and there's a barrier like that so you can't go in. Security guard, I couldn't see him, I think he must have been asleep in his little hut. I've just took a load of blues, with 20 blues, chucked the tub, just ripped the barrier up and just went walking on the runway. So I'm walking down past the planes, just looking up at them. This time I wasn't seeing things when there was loads of police cars flying up the fucking runway. And they've just come flying towards us and the guns jumping out. They say, what are you doing? I says, what am I doing? Just acting dumb and daft, pissed idiot. Says, what am I doing? I've come to get a plane. And they were like, looking at us as if to say, what
You're in the wrong bit.
How the fuck are we getting on here? They says, how are we getting on here? Says, well, the taxi drivers just dropped us off there and said, go on that way. Said, so I've just walked under. And they says, right, get in here. So they took us in the fucking room inside and all that and saying, like, what are you doing? I says, I'm going to Ibiza. They says, where's your suitcase? I says, I'm buying me clothes when I get there, man. They goes, where's your money? He goes, when are me sock hands? Well, there's the grand. And there's my passport. And the guys, where's your ticket? I says, I'm going to buy them here.
As the volume's kicking in.
I says, I'm buying it here.
20 volume.
And they says, the guy, so where have you just come from? I says, thought of me mate's house over at Killamouth. So obviously he's a known person. I've given his name. They says, right, we're getting you a taxi, you're going back there. So I've jumped in the taxi, getting down there, but I've been that off my head, I couldn't find the house. I've lost my phone in the car when I've crashed it, but I've still had my blaster phone on us. So ringing everyone on my phone, it's getting to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning early at this point. One person answered from Stanley. I've went back there, just went on a session back there. And then I'm getting a phone call 10 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck you been doing? And what you on about? He says the fucking armed responses just went through his house in Killamouth, fucking found his grow upstairs and everything. He's going nuts. He's been locked up. So obviously this time I'm thinking, I am on my toes now. So I've booked a flight from Manchester over to Magaluf. Flew over to there. Couldn't even remember how I got there. I ended up waking up after the aeroplane flight. I was thinking, how the fuck am I getting here? Had no hotels booked on out.
So for anyone, I mean, we never advocate taking Valium, but I used to say to people who used to take it, save yourself the trouble and go directly to the police station now and just hand yourself in, because that's what's going to happen. It's awful, isn't it? So yeah.
So getting in Magaluf, and it was like early hours in the morning, and no hotels on out. Gone in all the hotels, raging, saying, have you not got a fucking room? So anyways, I've ended up fighting in Magaluf. And then I've ended up thinking, right, I need to get away from here now. So I've went and jumped on a ferry from Magaluf across to Ibiza, over there for a bit. I'm thinking I'm on my toes and all that. So I've ended up coming back after a few weeks when I've run out of everything else. I've come back, but gets in touch with my solicitor and that. And he said they all wanting to speak to you, but they're not wanting you at the moment. So I was thinking, what the fuck? But obviously they've getting me phone DNA, and they were waiting for that to come back. So they're waiting for all that to come back before they could go into probation. So they've rang probation.
And obviously all the analysis, watching your journey.
So they've rang probation up and said, listen, recall him. His DNA is on the airbag. So I've been recalled, but luckily I'd been back for a couple of months and sorted myself out, kept off the drink, got myself level-headed, on my way to work in my recovery truck, got boxed in by a load of police cars, chucked in the back, wanted for recall, and I just thought,
nightmare.
Life's fucking falling apart here. But luckily I had actually sorted myself out and I was off the drink and everything, because imagine getting recalled full of Valium, full of whatever. Would have been murders on in jail. So back in Durham, I was in the gym, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, It's Stanley. 6 hours later, 3 in the afternoon, I'm sitting in Durham thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What's going on
Again.
here? But I was thinking it's got to be for the car, but they weren't telling us anything. Left us hanging on, and it wasn't for a couple of days when my solicitor got in touch and said it's for the car offence, and what we've been recalled for. And I was back in for 14 months in total. COVID struck, so we were locked up during COVID. As you'll know yourself, obviously everyone was banged up, locked out here, locked down.
Aye.
But in there you
I
banged
think
up
we are
23.
slightly better out here, though. Just a bit.
23 hours a day. Sometimes you were banged up from 8 in the morning till 3 o'clock the next afternoon, and you would get 40 minutes out your pad.
Shower
And is this where you started training your pad and the
this
idea
is-
for ruthless fitness and everything came about?
But for the first 6 months, it took us 6 months to actually change my mindset. For the first 6 months, I was blaming probation. The bastard shouldn't have recalled us. I was blaming the police. I was thinking they could have come and interviewed us first. In my head, I'm thinking, I'll get off this. I'll just say I was a passenger. I jumped across the... My DNA's on there because of that. I didn't have to have been the driver. There's been, obviously the car's been stolen, but the car was off
not
weeks
to your
ago.
knowledge.
I can't prove it was me. So in my head, I'm making up this scenario, thinking, right, I'll get off with it, I'll beat the case. And then that's when COVID struck, and there was no court cases. I thought, oh, just my luck, I'm stuck in here forever now. But then they were doing court cases by video link, and I thought to myself, like, I'm in this situation now, I'm going to make it right, so I admitted to it. Obviously, I was wanting to take it to try and run it and try and beat it. But the way things worked out when I admitted to it, pled guilty to it, and I got an 8-month sentence for that. But obviously, you've got to do that 8-month sentence and then still do your IPP. And I went back to my pad after being on the video link, took it all in. I admitted to myself, right, it was me, it was my fault. It wasn't probation's fault. If I didn't give them a reason, then I wouldn't have been recalled. The police wanted us off the streets because of the way my lifestyle was going. Obviously, they're hearing bits and bobs what's going on. So it's not their fault, it's all me. I've got to take it all on board.
But back to the trigger with the awful suicides and all the trauma and stuff was all at play, wasn't it?
I spoke with my friend in my head, and I was saying to him, the one that I found, the first one, my best friend, who's been my friend, he was the one that stuck by us through, the only one that properly stuck by us through my prison sentence, the IPP. I was speaking to him in my head, and I said, listen, like, you fucked my life up long enough now. It's time for me to move forward with my life and live my life for you as well. And like, obviously, fucking let your memory live on through me. So when I said that to him, the next morning I've rang my wife and I've choked him on the phone. I've just said, listen, I'm sorry. Like, it's my fault. Took everything on board. That phone call was probably one of the hardest phone calls ever. Like I say, I was proper choking up. I'm not afraid to admit it.
No, of course, no.
Plus, my kids was 2, 3, 6 and 7. My wife's left at home with them during COVID. She's not allowed to see any family members, just stuck with them. And she's got to deal with me being in there. And she's just as worried about me, about when I'm going to get out. She knows all about the IPPs. And from that day forward, that's when my life changed, and that's how I am, the person I am now. Plus my kids, like I've just said there, the ages of them, my 2 and 3-year-old was saying, Daddy, when you're coming home? Well, I couldn't tell them. If I could say I'll be back in 4 months, son, then it wouldn't have been so bad. But with that IPP, I'm thinking, right, I'm in this situation, I need to get myself out. If I have a fight, or if I have a nicking or anything, I'm going to be in for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I need to get out as quick as possible. The need is out there. I'm the sole provider for my family. So I started training all the time, get myself as fit physically and mentally as possible, the fittest I've ever been in my life. And I was actually in the best place ever in my head. Started to feel, I'm in the worst place possible, stuck in there. But I actually felt mint, I felt elevated. And all my friends, the lads around us on the wing, were just piling on the weights, full of depression, suicidal. And I was going around getting them out, how I get on the yard. We're doing circuits, standing out. I'd have about 10 of us on the yard doing circuits every day, getting fit as anything. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to start jotting these ideas down. I'm going to write a book. So over the next 6 months, I'd done my book, wrote everything down, finished it. And then obviously COVID was easing. Hadn't seen my sons, the two youngest, for 7 months, which was a killer. Come up for parole, sat on the parole board like I am now, tell them everything, like I've just spoke about there. But the reasons why I done what I done, opened up, and obviously the scene, and give us a chance, and said, right, you're getting released. So I was released in January 2021, nearly 4.5 years ago.
Yeah, fantastic.
And in that 4.5 years of getting out, obviously my car business I knew was ruined. Could no longer drive recovery trucks. I was banned from driving. My insurance is going to be through the roof. But being that businessman, entrepreneur mindset, the book Behind the Bars, Ruthless Fitness, I started thinking about setting up
which is up there.
Yeah. Started thinking about setting up personal training, Ruthless Fitness, which I did actually start before my gym. Going down the fields, tying a boxing bag up in the tree, setting up a little circuit class, taking people down on the field. Then my friend who'd owned the gym up in Stanley for 20 years said, I'm selling my gym, you're the perfect person to get it, you know. Ended up buying his gym, helped transform hundreds of lives, thousands of lives online. And
I've been to the gym, I was there a couple of months ago, three months ago, and it's a great setup. I was telling you, Tom, it's a great setup.
But it's bang in the middle of Stanley, bang in the middle of my community. And a lot of people have said, like, it's good how you've been accepted back into your community because of the things you've done in your past.
Yeah.
But people see, obviously, the success story, and I'm in there helping the youngsters in my area, doing talks. I open up and tell them about, like, what we've spoke about on here, but tell them, like, the bad side of prison.
The reality of it.
Not the TikTok videos, dancing in pads and rapping and all that shit.
Well, I mean, what you've never done about your victims and anyone else's, you've never glamorised it. You know, you paid the penalty, massive, life sentence in essence. And I think I came to the gym when I was with my nephew, and I said to you there, I'm really proud of you. You know, not that I knew you really, really well, when you were in the madness, but I did meet you, and but I think seeing where you are now and seeing what that gym's done and hearing what it's done, because I'm in the communities, so and again, I mean, touching on your YouTube channel, I mean, how did that come about? What was that about?
Well, when I got me gym, I thought, right, I've wrote me book, I've got it on Amazon. It's in W.H. Smith and Waterstones, but there's not many sales. So I was thinking, how do you get sales? So I thought, right, YouTube, start doing videos. And the videos weren't even about prison to start with. It was called Behind the Bars, Ruthless Fitness, but I was talking about mental health, anxiety, depression, how fitness betters you, and I was talking about me exercises, running through exercises, different things, and then one day I put prison workout or something like that in the title on YouTube, thousands of views, and then I just thought, so the more I started talking about prison, I had a couple hundred subscribers, and I thought, I would love to get to 1,000. I've now got 105,000 subscribers,
wow, man.
300,000 subscribers across all my platforms, and it's just took off from there.
And I think it's how real it is one of the things for me watching it. And I know you were watching it. I mean, you mentioned Ricky to me, and I says, oh, he's my pal, I know, Mike. He's a good kid, he's one of the best. And, you love the content.
I did.
And for me as well, I mean, and I think, well, as you would do, you started it. And I love what you do now. I love how you're just free-flowing, it's relaxed. But the two things I love the most about it is it's real and it's positive. What I mean, I love one of the recent ones where you said, look, let's talk about the reality of prison. You could be the biggest gangster where you're from, or you can be the lowliest, shop, no disrespect to shoplifters, but they're not looked at on the criminal ladder, or drug users, they're not looked at on the criminal ladder as the chaps. It doesn't matter anymore once you're in dispersal system. As we've said, anybody can stab you, anybody can, put a pot of oil across your head. It's very real and it can go wrong in a second. And we're mentioning sentences. You go in there, you might have to kill someone in defence of yourself. And if you're doing a life sentence, I know the IPP's gone now, but you said there, I'm going to have to do the next 4 years, but you might have got in a fight.
Of course.
We might have been talking about Ricky Clean, the kid we used to know 25 years ago. And
like we see the amount of people inside a jail who's getting into fights or they've took a hit on with someone else. They've been paid £100. There's a lad in home also I mentioned he got paid £100 bit of spice to slice into the lad. He had 2 weeks left. He went and sliced the lad, done it on camera as well. He was that off his head. And and then he got a 12-year EDS.
Yes.
He's got to do 8 years out of the 12 before he's up for parole.
Yeah, yeah.
Similar story in Durham, stamped on a kid's head for 50 quid, ended up with a 12-year rep.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man,
Brutal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think even for the price for acts of violence, even in the community, I know someone who was shot there a couple of years ago, the guy got paid £1,000. The gun he shot him with was worth more. You know, it's just, it's a dangerous, isn't it?
It is, aye.
So the message of positivity and all of that, I mean, it continues. I mean, you're going to continue to do your work, aren't you?
Oh, definitely. Like I say in my gym, I've set up a group called Behind the Bars Support Group. The room like this where there are about 10 lads come in. I just set it up, advertise it who wants to come in, anyone who's suffering with mental health, addiction problems, anything like that. Straight off, had about 10 lads. A lot of them, I'm saying a lot of them, about 3 of them were actually off my YouTube channel because I spoke about it on there.
Yeah, yeah.
People from Gateshead over Sunderland would actually come to my gym to sit on my group and actually helped save 7 lads from killing themselves.
Unbelievable, tremendous.
Coming into my gym, there was a one lad, 18-year-old lad. His mother got in touch, who I've known since a kid. She says, Ricky, is there anything you can do for my son? He's just trying to kill himself at the weekend. So you send him into the group. She says, I don't think he'll come on the group. She says, we're telling him to come over by cell. So he's come over. I've sat with him for 45 minutes, telling me life story like I've just told about this. Without asking him any questions first, I just said, listen, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. And he sat there and looked at us and thought, my life isn't that bad, really.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said to him, I says, listen, this is what you need to do. You need to keep off the green, keep off the drink, keep away from people that's going to affect your mental health or whatever, and just get yourself in the gym and train, get yourself in a good mindset. Says, there's a copy of my book, have a read of that before you come to the gym. You can have free membership for a month, you can have a free t-shirt, different things. Comes in the gym, 2 years later, he's now 20-year-old, he's working, he's put 2.5 stone of muscle on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Comes in happy, and like I'll see him on the desk when he's passing, and like that's my reward, like seeing that, you know.
Well, I think,
and it was all for free. I didn't charge nothing. It was
and
all
look
like
what you've done, transform his life, and I think
saved it.
Taking our
Saved his
history,
Saved his life.
taking our history. That's the big thing that I'll say. You can say sorry, which you know you've said sorry. You can pay the price for what you've done in the life you led, but it's action that means something to me.
Yeah.
What have you done with that history and that story to change the lives of other people? You know, so they don't go down that road, or you know, we're around the prisons doing it. We're doing it in the community, and I know one of the tenants who's in our provision. You did a lot of work with him, who shall remain nameless.
He's coming back.
He is coming back, because we've given him a house back up that way. You know, you changed his life for the better.
Yeah.
I got the shock of my life as well when he showed us a photograph. I says, that's not you. You've stuck your head on that photo. But, you know, I congratulate you because you have taken all of that negativity, all of that darkness, and you've turned it round and look what you've achieved. And I couldn't be more proud of that. And I'm in awe of you, to be honest. I think you've done amazing.
But for me as well, like that lad there, like when I see his mum now, like she grabs us and gives us such a squeeze and cries her eyes out, you know, and saying like, you've saved his life, you know, that's like powerful for me, you know. It's like,
absolutely.
It's tremendous. And I went, for me as well, countless times, but I feed off that in a good way. When I first started doing it, if I was chocolate, I would have ate myself. Because I was helping people, but it fed me ego. And my girlfriend at the time started calling us Gary Krishna. Because I'm like, I've changed this person's life, you know, and she mocked us unmercifully. And but when I got it right and thought, this isn't about me, but I've got to say it, there is no feeling like really helping someone. You can't buy that.
But I think when you've had our sort of pass as well, and then when you turn your life around and you're helping other people, you're helping them, but you're also helping yourself at the same time.
I say it every time, helping's healing. Because it does help to heal us as well. And I mean, we've got the gym, Unit 65, just a little boxing, you know, if you can call it a boxing gym, but even that's been open a year, and we made it for free, you know, because we understand the cost of living and stuff, and the business does all right. But even what that's done in a year, you know, somebody said yesterday, what is the future hold? I said, if that closed today, the good it's done already, you know, you can't measure it. So then, what does the future hold for Ricky Killeen?
Well, in 2 weeks' time, I'm actually moving abroad with my wife and 4 kids. Because like we've touched on, like I still live in the same area.
Yeah.
And it's quite challenging being in that environment when you've turned your life around.
Yeah.
Even though obviously, like I say, I get on with everyone, I haven't got any enemies or anything like that. But when you're seeing people getting up to things that I used to get up to. It's, like I say, it's quite challenging. Plus, my son's 14 tomorrow, so I've got 14, 9 and 7. And you can just see, I'm in the same place, Leroy. I'm in the same house. And like, it's the same streets, it's the same things going on, if not getting worse.
Yeah.
And my sons have also, they can handle themselves because I've teach them how to, they don't obviously go around fighting, but I've taught them how to be into fitness, boxing. And my oldest one was in the amateurs, or just leading to the amateurs. And they've got a bit of a name because of me. And it can go the other way as well.
I was just going to say
and I don't want that for them.
No.
And I can see it will happen.
Yeah.
And what'll happen as well, it'll get me back into trouble, because when they're out with their friends, getting into trouble, someone's messing on, which has actually happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's happened to me
when
as
they tell us who it was, some muppet who he couldn't tie me shoelaces.
Of course,
stand outside a bar, griefing all the 13-year-olds saying, do you know who I am? I'll get me family on you. And I just thought, I can't be dealing with these types of videos.
1 second, and honest, genuinely, it's happened to me a number of times, because it never leaves you, even though, you know, you've got to keep the devil in the cage.
Of course,
I always say it, it's got to be locked.
When you hear it initially, you're like, and then you calm back down, you think,
but
wait a second.
But it's 1 second before you know where you are, you're there.
But
and it's in you.
If you're in that place, if like it was in a bar, outside of a bar.
Yeah.
If you were in that bar and you were intoxicated,
of course,
and you get the phone call, and you run outside the bar, what's going to happen?
I go and have the odd drink certain places, but the certain places I won't go, which are connected to me past. Because the last time I was there, something got said, and before I knew I was out the seat. Because that was where I grew up. And all of a sudden I'm saying, well, let's go. And then I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Exactly,
You know, this is... But I totally appreciate that situation. I think you're doing the right thing to be going as well.
But I'm teetotal now as well. I
did offer me cleaning services. If you want to take us with you,
well,
you know, I'm there for you.
Might be room there.
So, yeah. Is there anything else then before we close?
I think it's inspirational to me. I just think I love, partly why I went with Gary, because in prison, a lot of lads say, oh, you'll never see me back here, boss. And just what Gary was as a criminal, you know, extremely violent, drug dealer and all the rest of the stuff, alleged. Bank robber, and just to see him now repairing some of the damage he caused, and I think you've done a similar thing, and I just think it's, for me, inspirational.
Well, once we get this,
and I'll use you now, Ricky, as an
contract
example.
out the way, I think we might be going out to visit Ricky. It's one of them.
You're stagnate over there.
I've got a new initiative called Inspire in Thailand. So yeah.
Well, I am back every 3 months for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. Well, so if there is anything,
yes, indeed. Well, we did mention
we've
got the gigs to go around these jails. We've also got some gang work to do in Dearbolt, and obviously we would love. We've discussed this. We would love you to come in and do it with us when you're back.
If you're back in the country, like I just think you'd be perfect for that.
Unbelievable! Yeah. So yeah.
Like I say, even for them dates when I'm back, if we sort someone out, you know,
100%, definitely. Well, look, I just want to thank you, and I know you're a very busy man, and I know this is third time lucky getting you here. So I appreciate you coming in, and Tom, thank you very much. I love talking with you, so thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.